Just down the way is a family-run cider company. This family has deep roots here in Bandon. Cranberries were a staple for Native Americans, who harvested these wild berries and used them for all kinds of things like remedies for illnesses, foods, and yes, drinks. Turns out that cranberries were even used back in the fur trading days in an energy-like bar called pemmican. Today, the cranberry is still going strong, and man, it's ridiculously amazing in cider form. Please meet the family behind Bandon Rain Cider. This is Gary, Karen, Trevor, and Mary. And tell me about Bandon Rain.
My wife and I are third generation cranberry farmers. And I said, Karen, I'm gonna do something with these. I'm gonna make something. I'm gonna make cranberry apple hard cider. And what I made was not very good. It had alcohol in it, and that was about it. It tasted really bad. And Trevor and Mary picked up on the idea. Mary worked on the formula, came up with a much, much better tasting cider, and that's the way it started from our farm. And we started on our farm making the cider, and that's.
So wait, your farm, is this you here, right here?
Yeah, that's pictures of our family.
This one?
That's my brother, and straight to the right is me on that picking machine.
This here is a man-made lake then.
That's how we pick. We use water as a harvesting tool. So we flood. We have dikes around, and we flood. These cranberries are chambered berry and float. So we knock them off with that machine you're just looking at, and corral them in the water, and can move them all around, and then elevate them out into a truck.
What is this machine doing right here?
That is like a big egg beater, okay? And the vines are matted and very low, and what it does, it rakes the vines, it knocks the berries off, they float to the surface.
If we all come back in September, October, can I get in the water and do that with you?
Yes, absolutely. I'll put you on that machine. I'll have you run it.
I could run the machine?
Yes.
Well, you heard it. I get to come back and run the machine. I can't wait. And so then, Mary, you came up with this thing, this concoction?
We started fermenting apples and cranberries with different types of yeasts and different temperatures, and we did it about 11 times before we found a recipe that we thought we could sell to the public.
Can we see how the operation works now? I'll follow you. I'll follow everybody. Oh, look at this. Wow, that's cold.
We ferment in these tanks. Each tank here is 1,000 gallons. Once it's done fermenting, it takes anywhere between 14 to 30 days typically to ferment out. We transfer it into these guys. They settle for anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. And then we take it and we transfer it again into some blending tanks back here. So these two tanks are bright tanks. This is where we cool down the product, we blend it together, and we carbonate it. Right now it's full of our cranberry. We will be kegging this up in a day or two, completely ready to go.
Real? Oh, look at this, right out of the... Is this a finished product?
Yeah.
So now it goes here into the bottle and we're good.
Yeah, it goes into kegs.
I think that is the finest cider I've ever had.
Thank you.
That is incredible, sweet and balanced. And I mean, I'm not a cider professional, but that is beautiful.
She did well, from where we started into what was that product.
Let's see where this liquid gold is going. Let's go. Let's show me where it's at. But it is good to help people realize, especially with mom and pop places, from the start of your family's farm, getting the cranberries.
These two put in a lot of hours into making this. I mean, I've come down here checking sprinklers, for frost control at 4 in the morning, and Mary and Trevor will be here, tending the cider. And I'm going, oh my gosh.
So where did you get the knowledge to figure this out?
Mary went to cider school. Trevor and Mary convinced me to go with Mary to Northern Washington to a guy that came from England that taught about hard cider making named Peter Mitchell. We went there, we took the cranberry squall, he judged it, and and he said, this is absolutely great. I would buy it, I would drink it, and so will everybody else. And he looked at us and said, you need to launch it. From that guy, traveled all over the world teaching hard cider making, that's the way we really got enthused. And Mary and I had 7.5 hours to drive back to Bandon and talked about what was going to happen. And I said, what are you going to...
8 years ago, I think.
Yeah, and then I said, Mary, what are you going to do? She said, I'm quitting my job. I'm moving in with you and Karen. And I said, okay.
Well, congratulations on such a beautiful family and a family business. That's a lot of work that went involved there. And look at all this.
So, don't burn gorse.
Oh, that's another story.
Oh my gosh.
So gorse is an invasive plant that grows all over Bandon. It typically starts blooming in February. When I first moved here, I didn't know what it was, and I Googled it. And then he said it's from Ireland, and Ireland they make wine out of it. I'm all, well, can't we make a cider out of it? So we did a small batch, and we had served it locally at this little festival, and people loved it. And over time we've made it, but one of the issues is harvesting gorse is very difficult, because gorse is like a cactus type plant. It's very pokey and thorny, and you have to pick we only take the blossom, we pick the tiny little blossom.
Oh yeah, it tastes like an invasive species.
You're right.
No, it's super mellow though, man. It's super good. It's had its own unique flavor. Never tasted anything like it.
A lot of people, locals, will think it's going to have a sharp flavor because of gorse is such a mean plant, but it's very light. We call it don't burn gorse because the town burnt down in 1936 when a gorse fire got out of control.
I can't wait to share you with everybody else. That is really fun.